Greetings from the Nerd Castle kitchen. Stan Gibilisco here. Just a little question for you. First of all, I'd like you to see what I plan to have for my 11 o'clock meal, 11 o'clock p.m. that is, later this evening. Beef loin, tenderloin steak. I kind of went to town here. $15.99 a pound. Here's 1.29 pounds in this package. I'm going to have just one of those things tonight. 1.29 pounds at a time of lean meat like this would make me pretty torpid, even though I'm an active boy. But as an appetizer before that, here's the vegetable salad that I have just about every night. Steamed broccoli, steamed cauliflower, and salt and pepper and sunflower seeds. No Brussels sprouts this time. I guess they didn't have them at the store. I steam them up in advance. And then I chill them and have them just like this. I don't have any dressing or anything on there. I find those salad dressings to be rather nauseating for the most part. If you read the list of ingredients on most of them, it reads like a chemistry laboratory. And it behaves in my body kind of like what you'd expect out of a chemistry lab, too. Here's another thing I'm going to have that you may not even be able to recognize by looking at it here. That is a small can of smoked oysters, and I rinsed out all of the salt and cottonseed oil in there, and then put in my own salt substitute and pepper and olive oil. And finally, as a snack, every now and then I'll have one of these things. This is a hard-boiled egg. I just crack it, peel it, and eat it like a great big jelly bean. But I'd like you to notice something in common about all of these different foods. The beef, the vegetables, the oysters, and finally the egg. They're all pretty much intact and whole. Of course, you might argue against that for the beef. This is just a certain cut of the meat from the cow. It's not ground up whole cow. I don't think that'd be very good for you anyway. Well, I don't know. I don't think it tastes very good. But here, this is a whole food as well. It is a whole, untampered with chicken egg. Now, I just read on the on the Fox News channel, I believe it was, .com, that there's a shortage of egg whites because people are giving up the yolk and eating only the white. Have you ever had just plain egg white? Like maybe if you eat a hard-boiled egg but you discard the yolk or something and you just eat the whites? There's almost no calories in egg whites and almost no fat. The protein, however, is, I believe, incomplete. And you can use egg whites in ingredients such as baking bread, I believe, and things like that as a kind of it gives it a little bit of, helps it to rise or something. It's good for biscuits and so on and so forth. But for me, I have a problem here. Now, I guess they're giving up the egg yolks because they're afraid of the cholesterol. People are health conscious, supposedly, giving up whole eggs because they're afraid the yolk has too much cholesterol. Well, obviously it would not be particularly wise to eat a dozen of these things every day, any more than it would be wise to eat a dozen cans of oysters a day, or 12 pounds of beef a day, or 12 bags of broccoli a day. I think you'd feel pretty rotten in all those cases. As a matter of fact, I'd probably find the eggs the easiest of all to digest. But eggs also, in and of themselves, have, I believe, the most complete protein known. That doesn't mean you should eat a whole lot of them, but they are a good whole food. Giving up the yolk in favor of the whites, and also, doing things like taking the butter fat out of milk, replacing it with soybean oil, things like margarine instead of butter, and things like that, I just have a little bit of a problem with that, because I'm not so sure that we know better than nature what is good for our bodies, any more than we know better than the natural environment what is good for our planet. People have suggested tampering with our planet in various ways to counteract the results of other tampering that we have done with our environment. I'm not sure that that's a very good idea. All of this, I think, sometimes I just think nature knows best. That's just my opinion. I would like yours. So I will leave comments open from the Nerd Castle kitchen. And if you tell me these things look gross, I won't deny it. But they taste pretty good. I mean, I've developed a taste for whole, plain, more or less unadorned food like this. Over time, as I have maintained a more or less Atkins-esque diet, although I did have some wonderful blackberries, raspberries, and plums earlier today, and I had some good old sourdough spelt bread that I bought at a health food store yesterday. So, not quite all the way to Atkins, but are these things really deadly poison? I just can't wrap my gray matter around that idea. How about you? Stan Gibilisco signing off from the carnivore capital of the Nerd Kingdom. Until next time, so long.